the Prajnaparamita, and the Lankavatara. The Prajnaparamita Sutra opens with a chapter on the life of the Bodhisattva, which is based on the realization of transcendental knowledge, or prajna, and a gist of it reads something like this. Subhuti is asked by the Buddha to teach the Bodhisattva how to attain the perfection of prajna, to which Subhuti answers, "There is no such thing as being a Bodhisattva, on whom a man can lay his hand, nor is there anything to be known as prajna, or transcendental knowledge. Hence, to talk about the attainment of its perfection is meaningless. In fact, to think or imagine that there is something doing or going on is against the true notion of mind, or citta, which is pure, that is, absolutely beyond all forms of functioning. That which is known as mind in discursive reasoning is no mind, or asitta. Though without this, mind cannot be reached. In any event, there is mind that is no mind, and that is neither being nor non-being, neither to be perceived nor to be grasped. Further, the Bodhisattva, so-called, has no abiding place. Therefore, when prajna is realized by him, he is not abiding anywhere, not in any of the five skandhas, that is, he is not to be located in a world of matter and form, nor in a world of consciousness. Again, there is nothing in prajna that gives one a clue to its being grasped. When we say that a bodhisattva has realized prajna, we may imagine that there is a bodhisattva, that there is prajna, and that the latter has entered into the consciousness of the former. And further, that he takes hold of it as if a mother is tenderly cherishing her baby. But this altogether misses the mark. For the bodhisattva is now in a samadhi called sometimes sarvadharma parigrihita, that is, samadhi of not grasping anything. Sometimes sarvadharma nupadana, that is, samadhi of not getting attached to anything. Here he has gone far beyond the five skandhas, and has no consciousness whatever of doing or not doing anything, because he is not at all conscious even of the samadhi itself, because such samadhi is non-existent, does not present itself to his consciousness. Why? Because in his no-mindness he has no cravings, cherishes no attachments of any sort. In his mind, which is no mind, that is, when he is abiding in his transcendental consciousness, he is not conscious of a world of particulars where things are always conceived in opposites. Further, Subhuti goes on. The bodhisattva, while disciplining himself to attain an enlightened mind, an all-knowing mind, a mind with no outflowings, an incomparable mind, and a mind which is beyond the attainments of Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, knows no such mind to cling to as one that is to be grasped by him. Why? Because an all-knowing mind has no outflowings, because what is known as an all-knowing mind is indeed without outflowings, and is beyond the reach of one's grasping. Therefore, in this mind there is no possibility of being grasped. Why? Because there is what may be termed no-mindness, in which mind and no-mind are merged as one, and which cannot be designated as either being nor non-being, and which is thus altogether beyond our perception and apprehension. When these statements are read for the first time by those who have not been initiated into the Buddhist way of thinking, they may appear as the climax of absurdity. Think of a man who is a no-man, seeking after a mind which is a no-mind, and further think of him as not knowing of anything being grasped by him when, for all we can guess, he seems to be in the midst of so-called enlightenment itself. What could be more nonsensical than this? And we are asked not to get alarmed, nor terrified. The Mahayana teaching, according to the Prajnaparamita, seems to be navigating over a stormy ocean where the boat has lost her compass and all her sailing paraphernalia. Can this really be the case with Mahayana Buddhism? The one most important thing that students of Buddhism have to realize at the very outset of their study is that Buddhism is not a system of philosophy, has nothing to do with speculations as such, has no intention to present a logically coherent formula of thought. What the Buddhist teaching professes to do is to get us truthfully acquainted with the ultimate facts of existence. It requires us firmly to grasp facts based on personal experience, for when this is attained, all the rest, including intellection, theorization, or philosophizing, will follow by itself according to the requirements of a mind in which the experience takes place. It will therefore be a great mistake to take the Mahayana Sutras, such as the Prajnaparamita or the Lankavatara, for a series of, quote, discourses on the metaphysics of the Mahayana school of Buddhism, close quote. The Madhyamika school, or the Yogacara, may have their own metaphysics in their sutras, but as far as the Mahayana Sutras are concerned, perhaps excepting a very few, they have nothing to do with metaphysics or epistemology. What they contain are plain statements of facts experienced by the Indian Buddhist minds. That is, they are most direct statements based upon the intuitive knowledge these minds have gained regarding the religious life. Their statements may be logically untenable or impossible, but they have not lost sight of the facts or experiences that have flashed through their minds. All their paradoxes, contradictions, incomprehensibilities, and even all their apparently nonsensical utterances must be reduced, first of all, to their intuitions. Buddhist students are, therefore, requested to dig patiently down to the bedrock which forms the basis of these utterances, if they desire to make them reveal their inmost secrets wrapped up in these uncouth or terror-inspiring phrases and propositions of the Prajnaparamita.